So welcome to our keychain project. We're going to create a keychain that you can 3D print this week as something a little bit different to do. It's kind of a fun project where you have some creativity. So I wanted to show you a few different formats that I can suggest, or I'm sure that you'll have your own creative ideas, but we could go with something very simple, like a really simple shape with some rounded corners. And in any case, you're always going to want a little hole in your designs. Here's another option. A lightning bolt, which is basically just a set of really simple lines. A cloud. This would be something that started with overlapping circles and the lines that were overlapping were removed. And this is a similar design of overlapping circles. That's a little more geometric than the cloud. So if you're interested in making a design kind of like this, I can walk you through it. And otherwise, you can kind of watch and think about learning how this is done and then make your own design. So first, when you get started, you're probably going to want to create a new document. So that's in everyone's OnShape main menu. So we'll create a new document. I'm going to call mine Keychain Project. And you're always asked, what is your document location? You should have a classwork folder. If you don't have a classwork folder, start by creating a folder and call it classwork. Here I have my classwork folder here. So that's a good place for you to get started. So perhaps we should have done that first. Create a folder, call it classwork, and then in your classwork folder, you're going to create that new document called Keychain Project with, of course, your name on it. Because actually, I know you already know your name and you'll know which project is yours, but I'm going to hopefully be printing lots and lots of these over the course of the week, and that would be very helpful for me to know whose is whose. So please do put your name on your project. I'm creating mine in my classwork folder. Here we go. So when you start a new OnShape project, you're going to see this interesting set of squares. You're seeing the front of a design. You can also look at the design from the top, the right side, pretty much any direction. This is called your view cube, and you can use these little triangle arrows to rotate your view cube and kind of slowly see what things would look like from different directions. And you can also use this pull down menu to kind of get back to where we started with the isometric view. So in order to do anything in OnShape, you usually start with a new sketch. And the first thing you're asked, see where it says sketch plane here? You're being asked to select a sketch plane or click on front. Are you going to draw on the front plane? Right, are you going to draw this as if you're looking at it from the right side? Or top, are you going to draw something that's basically looking down from the top? So I'm going to choose the front perspective. And now that I have chosen that, I can click on the front of the view cube and get a look straight on at what I chose to draw. If I wanted to make that first project, I think I showed you the really plain rectangle with the rounded off edges. I can do that right here. Let me just do that again. We have some different drawing tools in the top left corner that I think might be helpful for you today. And one of them is the rectangle tool or corner rectangle. So when I'm using my corner rectangle, as you may expect, I'm going to click on where one corner should start and where the opposite corner should end. As I'm doing this, you might notice that there are dimensions or distance measurements being defined as I drag my mouse around. I'm going to click down at a space that I think is pretty close to where I would want this. And then notice there's this rectangle here with a number inside of it. That means I can edit this number. It's a little text box. I don't want to click there. I can just type right into the box. It's already selected. So I'm going to make mine 3 inches across. I'm going to press enter or return here. And notice when I do that, the other number, the height dimension, is already selected. I can define how high my keychain should be. I'm just going to type a 2 in right away and press enter. And I've got my rectangle here, 2 inches in height, 3 inches in width. This double arrow tool is called the dimension tool. And if you missed a chance to define either of those sizes, you can certainly go back and do that. Actually, maybe I'll delete one of these dimensions so you can see how that works. If I just hover over, while the dimension tool is selected, if I hover over one edge of the rectangle, I can pull out the dimension and edit it. I'm going to keep it at 2, of course. And there we go. Oh, should we play with that? What if you wanted to make it 1.5? You would see the size changing right away. So as you can see, it's pretty quick to have an impact when you're changing the size. Now that we have this part done, let's see, how do we make those rounded edges? This is called the sketch fillet. A fillet tool helps you round off edges. So I'm going to click on the 2 edges that I want to get have this rounded intersection. I can click down. It's going to ask me what kind of radius do I want this curve to have. So I think I'm going to keep it the way it is, 0.25. You can certainly edit in your own case if you're working on this. And I'm going to make another fillet. The tool is still selected, so all I really have to do is click on 2 other edges and I should get a rounded corner. I'm going to keep going and click on more edges. And everything is getting rounded off with a 1/4 inch radius. So this looks good to me. When you are finished with a sketch and you feel good about it, you can click on this green box with the check mark to, I call it accepting your sketch. You can accept your sketch that way. And let's take a look at it from the front and then from the isometric view. If I look at it from the top, oh, I don't really see anything. What if I look at it from the side? Again, I don't really see anything because we've basically drawn something that is, almost think of it as paper thin. It doesn't have any depth yet, really. In order to give it some depth, we use this tool called extrude. So if I click on extrude and I click on the sketch that I just made, suddenly, oh, it looks kind of boxy. It does have a depth now. Let's make that depth pretty thin because we're making a keychain. We don't want it to be, we want it to be thin enough that we can get the loop through it, and we want it to be thin enough that it's lightweight to carry and easy to stash in someone's pocket or bag or something. So let's go with a 1/4 inch thick. And if that looks good to you, you can accept your extrusion here. I would suggest putting the hole into the keychain next. So let's go ahead and make another sketch. And can you see I'm selecting the front face of this shape that we made, this part that we made. And I'm going to make another sketch on the front, so I clicked on the front perspective. I'm going to use this center point circle tool to add a small circle on the side here. The diameter should be something like 1/4 of an inch would be good. That way we'll be sure that the keychain ring will fit through the hole. And we don't want the hole to be too far from the edge, or it will be hard to get that keychain ring around. So let's make this distance pretty small. There we go. I'm going to go for something like 0. I'll go with 0.1. So that should be a nice short distance that we could get the ring to separate and to go through this hole. Lovely. And I'm going to accept my sketch. I'm going to do another extrusion and select that sketch with the hole. Whoops. I just want the hole. Okay. And rather than this, it's trying to add more material, I want to basically remove this hole. I'll make it the same depth as the keychain itself, which is 0.25. And now if we look at our keychain straight on, we can kind of see right through this hole. This is officially open air. So now that we have this plate and the keychain, the keyring hole, I'm going to add one more sketch onto the front plane, well, onto the front of our keychain. And I'm going to use that to add some text. This is the text tool. We have to draw a text box onto the shape we're writing on. And I'm going to write my name. There are different fonts that you can choose from, so you can certainly experiment with those if you want to. Every time you select something, you should see a result right away. So let's go ahead and accept. I think I liked what I had before. Accept what we have. Then you're going to want to size your text. So I'm clicking on the left edge, bringing my mouse over. I'm going to click on the right edge of the text box. I think I'm going to make this about 2 inches. I'm going to use the dimension tool a little bit more to determine the positioning of the text as opposed to just the size of the text. So let's make it maybe 1/2 inch from the edge. Oh, I think a little bit less, so we're kind of centered. That looks better. And then I want it to be a little bit higher. Let's go for something like 0.7, more. About 0.9. That looks good. Okay. So when you're happy with your name sketch, oh, by the way, You can write something like a kind message to someone. You could write, if this might be a gift for one of your parents, you could write their name, or you could write mom or dad on it. So think about what would be something that someone you want to give this to might enjoy. Or else you can certainly make one for yourself. So I'm going to accept my text. I'm going to use the extrude tool and find my name. And you can choose if you want it to be an add or a remove. If we do an add, that's going to mean that the name is kind of standing up out of the base plate, almost like, Braille, the way you would feel something above the surface if you touched it. So I think I'm going to do a remove, which basically means etching my name into the plate here, and I know that the thickness is 0.25, so if I only remove, say, 0.1, that should etch my name in without completely removing the material where my name is. So can we tell? I think as we rotate, we should be able to get the sense that there is still more material there. It's not, we don't go clear through the way we did with the keychain hole. So that's good. So now that I am happy with my piece here, I think I'm done with it. I'm going to share it. That's what I want you to do when you're done with your keychain. Use a share, and who you're going to share it with, well, type my name in, please. Catherine Halsey Ayala, or you might be able to find me under KHA. You can choose, I would say just can view. I don't think you want me to edit your piece. And then maybe copy and link document. I always like to check those off. So let's go ahead and, no, I don't think, I would say let's choose export. Yes, go ahead and choose export because that's what I'm going to do in order to print your piece. So you can, once you've shared, you can close, and I will go ahead and print for you. So I hope this was helpful. This was just an introduction into how to do a really simple design, and I'll post another video tomorrow. Good luck with the project.